Hi, Embracing Only podcast family. This is Archita. We are introducing impact moments, actionable insights that highlight the best and powerful learning moments and wisdom from our past episodes of incredible guests. In this highlight reel, you'll hear leadership lessons from a combat veteran, taking action to be anti-racist, mastering workplace negotiations, leveraging your uniqueness for success. We'll take a topic and break it down in a short, snappy episode. So click on the link in the show notes to continue listening to these impact moments with our amazing guests.
So jumping right into it, Cindy, again, we're thrilled to have you here. So I think the first thing that drew me to you was you famously said, and I quote, "I like to blow shit up. I am the Michael Bay of business." What entrenched norms in advertising and tech are you currently targeting for disruption?
Sure. So I will just explain to our listeners where that soundbite came from and the importance of it, because basically, a number of years ago, I was talking to some potential consultancy clients about my approach to consulting. And I said to them, I consult very selectively, only for clients and brands who want to change the game in their particular sector. So you come to me for radical, innovative, groundbreaking, transformative. I don't do status quo. And then I lightheartedly, off the cuff, went, I like to blow shit up. I'm the Michael Bay of business. And everyone laughed. And I left the room and I thought, actually, that is a very good way of characterizing what I do. And so I've been using that tagline ever since. But I use that line not as a bit of creativity, a bit of whimsy, a bit of fun. I use it entirely deliberately because I'm a big believer in be your own filter. When I characterize what I do in that way, it attracts to me the people who want what I do. It repels the ones who don't. And I want to repel the ones who don't because they're a waste of time, effort, and money. So I recommend to our listeners, be your own filter. Put what you are out there. You will attract your tribe to you, and you will keep away the people who are not for you. And that being said, all that line does is it sums up my general approach to life. So no, I don't go around looking for shit to blow up. I just live and work my values every day. And it's an indictment on the rest of the world that all too often means disrupting the status quo.
I so love that. And I feel like I just want to piggyback on this just a little bit because Archita and I talk about alignment and authenticity so often. And there's so many women that are so afraid of walking in their own authenticity. And we say, ladies, we want to shake them. If you don't be your authentic self, you're not going to attract the network, the village that you need to go on this journey. So I think this is just another example of just that. And to transition to the second question here, you speak about aligning your values a lot and kind of chasing a path that is aligned with those values that you set for yourself that seem to be the cornerstone of the work that you do. And specifically, you advocate for a business model that you describe as shared values plus shared actions equals shared profits, right? So can you talk to us a little bit about how organizations can effectively identify and align on values that most matter to them? And maybe part two of that, how individuals can do the same if their organization seems to be going left and they want to go right.
Sure. So let me start with individuals because honestly, for me, this is the starting point for everything. I want to say to our listeners, if you've never conducted this exercise, take a long, hard look into yourself and identify what you stand for, what you believe in, what you value, what you're all about. And when you do, that makes life so much simpler because life still throws at you all the shit it always will, but you know exactly how to deal with that shit in any given scenario in a way that is true to you. And that really is the secret of happiness, living your life and working your work in a way that is always true to you, true to your values. And I actually recommend to businesses that they do exactly the same thing. Take a long, hard look into yourself as a business and identify the reason you were founded in the first place, what you stand for, what your values are, what your values should be if you've lost sight of them over the years. And those should absolutely inform the way that you operate on a daily basis. And so when I identified my business model of the future, which is shared values plus shared action equals shared profit, financial profit and social profit. What I mean by that is when brands and businesses come together with their constituents, their audiences, and that can be consumers, it can be employees, analysts. When you come together on the basis of values that you all share, which is the most important requirement for a good relationship in life as much as business, you will never truly bond with anyone if you don't share the same values. When you come together around shared values and you are then able to collectively and collaboratively co-act on those values, to walk the talk together, you can make things happen in the real world that will benefit consumers, benefit employees, benefit society, and benefit the brand and its business. And so I really recommend to everyone that you only work for companies with whom you share the same values, because otherwise you are not going to progress in that company and you will not be happy within that company either.
Ding, ding, ding to all of those 1000%, and feel so aligned on that. And share a little bit about being an immigrant into the US. A lot of times the values you come in with are values that you've built from like your parents that they've given you. You come into like these values of a company that you originally thought were very much in alignment with who you are as an individual. But we evolve as individuals. So what might be like the way in which you'd recommend individuals think about this, that there's this fear of judgment, right? Where they might say that 10 years in, 15 years in, I don't align with this company anymore. How can individuals empower themselves with recognizing that we're a constant evolution as human beings, and it is okay to realign ourselves with places and spaces that most align with this evolved human being without this fear of judgment?
Many years ago, I read a report on stress in the workplace. And what this report identified was that the single biggest cause of stress in the workplace is not the amount of work you have to do. It is not the hours you have to work. It is when, because of the environment and the culture of the people around you, you are forced to do your job in a way that does not come naturally to you. Because that is the definition of stress, being forced to operate in a way that is not the way you would choose to. And we all know when we're undergoing that stress, and that is the single biggest signal that says, get the fuck out.
You're just so articulate, first of all. So you're just like, I'm trying to catch up with your last thought as you're like giving me this other like beautiful set of like absolute gems.
Yeah, and I feel like Cindy, as an HR leader, of course, I'm neck deep in SHRM data, I'm neck deep in all these data, and you're absolutely right. And there's values are certainly one, and strengths are another. So you might be value aligned, but let's say you're in a role where you need time to think, but you're in a role that doesn't give you that time. Like you have to be someone that's quick on your feet. That's going to burn you out as well. So it's two places that you have to match in how you're naturally wired, but also 100% agree when you're misaligned to your values. And I've certainly been there myself where I'm being tasked to do things as the HR partner. And I'm like, man, this is gross. I don't agree with the way we're treating our people. Will certainly cause you that sleepless nights. That's when you get the active stress. And you're absolutely right. We need to start developing these internal early warning systems to be like, hey, warning, something, either speak up and work yourself out of this, or speak up and maybe it doesn't go anywhere. And then that's your indication to pivot. So I think that's such a crucial point. And to piggyback on that a little bit, you made this comment about fear, and I can't remember if it was your TEDx talk in Greece, or which I loved, by the way, or there was another one that I read, but you specifically said about this fear of what other people think of you is the single most paralyzing dynamic. And I can tell you, working and coaching women specifically, we get so paralyzed by this, oh my God, what will people think? So you talked about a way to overcome fear is by taking action.
What I talked about earlier, that the only way to live your life is to live and work your values, is what overcomes the fear of what other people will think. Because then all that matters is that you know you're being true to you. And when you make that your North Star, you don't give a damn what anybody else thinks. But I'm a great believer in microactions because I believe that change happens from the bottom up, not the top down. Every one of us, every day, taking microactions, and microactions are very small, simple, easy to do actions, so easy to do, why wouldn't you do them? Every one of us taking microactions every day to change what we want to see change, cumulatively, all of those microactions add up at scale to enormous impact. And there is one microaction that I say to everybody, this is the simplest microaction to do because it doesn't need any talent, expertise, experience, but it is the microaction that will have the most dramatically beneficial impact on your life and your career going forwards. And anyone can take this microaction, and it is very simply say what you think. No, really, say what you really think. Because we don't. Because every day, especially as women, we are man-interrupted, mansplained to, talked over, held back, not listened to, not heard. And we often cease to say what we think. But it's incredibly important that we say what we think, because first of all, that is how you bring your value to the table. You were hired, you were employed to contribute what you uniquely can contribute to this business. If you don't say what you think, you are not doing that. But secondly, because saying what you think is, again, a great way to be your own filter. If you say what you think, if you contribute your unique perspective, and it is not welcomed, and is not listened to, it's not appreciated, and it's not valued, then again, get the fuck out.